I'd like to talk to you about a very special film today, 1928's Show People, directed by King Vidor, starring Marion Davies and William Haynes. It's what I consider to be the most essential silent movie ever made. Now, of course, we're not talking about the best, like the most moving, captivating, or greatest example of the artistry that was silent filmmaking. That would be Greed or The Big Parade. But I'm just talking essential. And I've said it on this channel before that I think it is the #1 most essential silent film ever made. Because I think it's nostalgic of itself. It also pays tribute to itself. It's completely in love with its own self-reference, with its own mythos, with its own romance, and with its own whimsy. Show People to me is just remarkably magical. It makes me so happy. It's one of those films that keeps me falling in love with the cinema. Every time I watch it, I fall in love with movies and silent films and silent starlets and the whole, kind of fantastical universe that these kind of idols occupied. I fall in love with that even more and more and more. King Vidor, I think, is one of the finest directors of the silent age. I think he had 3 absolute masterworks in the silent period. The Big Parade, The Crowd, and Show People. And Show People is definitely his most lighthearted. In fact, any fans of the artist out there, the more recent, I believe, 2011 film, will be kind of familiar with Show People already, since the artist kind of owes everything about its scope, its shape, its character to Show People. And I love the artist. I think the artist is great, and I don't understand why it's so cool to hate the artist. I think the artist is a phenomenal film. I think it's a masterful film as well, but it doesn't even hold a candle to Show People. Show People is a film that completely captivates me, that completely just makes me smile and feel happy to be in love or obsessed with silent movies, with cinema as a whole. It makes me just so happy because it is the idealized version. And if we're talking about kind of really ambitious self-reference for 1928, King Vidor has a cameo. Marion Davies has a cameo, which is confusing. Marion Davies plays Peggy Pepper, and she meets all these other stars, like a Chaplin and Fairbanks and Gilbert. All these people have cameos in it, playing themselves. And Marion Davies as Peggy Pepper meets Marion Davies, the actual actor, and is rather unimpressed with her. That is insane. That is an insane bit of self-reference. Of course, there's nothing postmodern about it. It's more so just fantastical. It's about the idea that anything can happen in Hollywood, especially old Hollywood, especially within this exact time period. And it came out following The Jazz Singer. People knew that the end was near for the silent empire, for the silent movie palaces, for the silent idols. People knew that silent films were about to die. And this was a celebration of everything that made them perfect, everything that made them worthwhile, everything that has just stunned and floored me for all of my life. Show People is just incredible. And it's absolutely essential, because if you want to watch a silent movie and see what was so special or magical or warm or cozy or interesting or dramatic or romantic or funny about them, it's all in there. It's all in Show People. And Show People is wonderfully structured. The bits are wonderfully played out. And I love that Marion Davies does truly get the shine here as an actor, as a performer, as a force to be reckoned with, as something, dare I say, either naturalistic or just balls to the wall hilarious. People like to marginalize her because of her romantic association with William Randolph Hearst, which is entirely unfair because Marion Davies had such a skill and it's on full display. Her entire wheelhouse of talent is on display in Show People, and she performed marvelously for the king, for King Vidor. And this is incredible, and she is even the reason why William Haynes is in the film at all. King Vidor wanted someone else, I believe Billy Boone, but he wasn't available at the time, and Marion Davies said, yes, have him in the film, and I will even share his name with mine above the title. And it's the only time she ever did so, which is even reminiscent of Show People itself, of the way that it ended with even a self-reference to its own film being made, that she found her co-star at the crossroads of her life. And it's kind of like about how a film itself was at a crossroads, right? Not only is it the faces of drama and comedy and fakery and authenticity, how Marion Davies, how Peggy, her character, has to learn that we are all clowns, but at least Billy Haynes kind of clowns. They know they're clowns, and they're in on the joke, and they get that it's funny, and they're not cruel, and they're not just so egotistical that it is beyond arrogant and is just unattractive, unappealing. And she decides to go with them, and it's not only a crossroads of genre type, being comedy and drama, it's a crossroad of a metacontextual nature, of a metacontextual framework. Film was at a crossroads between talkies and silent films, and it had to choose one. But Show People kind of tells us that the silent goddesses, the silent archetypes of happy and sad and melodramatic and war heroes, all of these archetypes of the silent film age, they will forever be alive because film is forever alive. In that period of time, that roaring 20s, those insane teens will always be there, will always be more alive than any talkie could ever be. The crossroads came, and the medium of art and popular culture had to choose which avenue to go down, and they chose. Yet silent films will forever be alive, forever be dynamic, will forever be dynamically becoming something larger than themselves, something beyond themselves. King Vidor's films are so incredible because they don't age. At least not in the way that we typically imagine art aging. His films dynamically become with you, and with the medium at large, which makes him even more special. Show People, I think, becomes more and more invaluable the farther we distance ourselves from 1928, from the silent gods and goddesses, from the the silent serials, the silent comedies, the silent romances, and swashbuckling tales of daring do. The farther we distance ourselves from that, either literally through time or in our behavior as a movie-going public or movie makers, the farther we distance ourselves from the pure joy that is encapsulated in Show People is almost tragic. The more we distance ourselves from it, the more invaluable it becomes, because the more lost it seems to be. And yet all you have to do to find what was lost, to find that magical, indescribable quality that was inherent, intrinsic to every silent film, is just watch one. That's all you have to do. There is no magic lamp. There's just a projector. And you're transported to the most transformative era in filmmaking, which, of course, is the silent era. I love Show People. I think it's beyond incredible. It's a film that plays on superficiality. It's a film that lightheartedly questions what makes something more real or authentic. Is it the fact that it is performative, or is it the fact that we are cognizant of the performative nature of our lives? Because everything is performative. We're all performing for someone. So on a deeper level, the film is saying that we will always be performative. Dramaturgy will exist everywhere. But it's about almost a synchronicity It's about like the singularity of actor realizing, or human being realizing, that we are all playing a role in this thing called society, life, or love, or trying to find it, and kind of owning up to the performative nature of ourselves. And you can choose to laugh, you could choose to cry, you could choose fakery, you could choose to be unreal, you can surrender to unrealism. But the characters in Show People, they surrender to happiness, they surrender to a truth, to as much of a truth as you can claim within a world where everything is artificial. And it doesn't make it a bad world that things are artificial. It doesn't make the world insincere. The world is still very sincere. It just makes you happier inside of it. That you own up to it. And you just laugh, and you love, and you kiss. And it's real. Even though everyone's watching you, it's always been real. And Show People is just a wonderful film about movie making. It's one of those great films about filmmaking. You know, it is up there with 8.5 and The Artist and The Player. Show People is probably better than any of them, because it's just so simple. The magic is in not only its simplicity, but in its transformative power, and in the power it has to make you yearn for days you've never experienced, because those days seem so pure and so fun. Show People has always astonished me, and it continues to do so to this very day. Long live King Vidor, long live Marion Davies and William Haynes. This film this film is beyond essential, beyond integral. Show People is film itself. It is the silent era. You have to watch it. You have to experience it, because it's just that much fun, and it's that moving. It's that romantic and that slapstick. It's full of heart. It is so full of heart. That's probably the best way I can articulate it. Show People is the film with the most heart. The most. Thank you for watching. My name is Zachary Conan. Subscribe, comment with your thoughts on this film or the silent era in general, and share the video with other silent movie junkies or just cinema aficionados. Thank you for watching. Always a pleasure.